And good morning and welcome to another edition of our Saturday morning show that's here every morning at 10:30 a.m. Telling it like it is. I'm Ralph Williams, and coming up right now is my co-host Leo Haggerty. Leo, welcome to the program.
Hey, Ralph. Good to be on with you.
All right, same here, Leo. We're in the First Line Consultant Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. This show is also brought to you by RW Media and Amped Up Sports as well. So, all right. Anyway, I want to get started here with a couple of things. We have three new sponsors here to add to today. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They have geothermal furnaces, radiant floors, humidifiers, service contracts, heat pumps, air conditioning, snow melt, air cleaners, and UV lighting. So if you need any one of those things, give Mata Heating and Air Conditioning a call. That number 724-201-0500. Ask for Bill. All right. P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. Call today 412-965-6578. Let the professionals at P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington detail your car the way it should be done by professionals. 412-965-6578. P6 Detailing. Food and travel mobility. Are you handicapped? Are you disabled? Use a wheelchair? Have you felt down because you need a power chair and you need a power chair that folds up so your life can be better? Well, I have the solution to your problem. Food and travel mobility. Call the specialist today at Fold and Travel Mobility for the best folding power chairs. 1-877-GOT-FOLD. That's 1-877-GOT-FOLD. They are the professionals. They have all those folding power chairs you need. Don't delay. Call today. That number, 1-877-GOT-FOLD. 1-877-GOT-FOLD, or at foldingandtravelmobility.com. Folding and Travel Mobility. All right, Leo. Well, a lot going on. We got a new Speaker of the House, and Israel has sort of started their ground attack with some tanks going into Gaza. What are your thoughts on this stuff?
Well, finally, the Republicans have got their act together and got a speaker. And frankly, I don't care what his past is, because now they can at least get stuff done in the House. They couldn't get anything done because they didn't have a speaker. So, yeah, that's a big thing now. And Israel, I'll tell you what, when that ground attack comes, it's not going to be pretty.
No,
Because
it's not at all.
they're
I've
going to
said this many
they're going to take
times.
no prisoners. They're going to take no prisoners, which is
No, not at all.
Yep.
Well, I've said this many times, Leo, on this show and on others, that you don't mess around. You don't mess with Israel. You know, if you remember Jim Croce, he said a song, "You don't mess around with Jim." Well, you don't mess around with Israel. They are a country who not only just has good intelligence, but they also have a good military, and you just don't want to mess around with them at all. But
Yeah, you know
Hamas,
what?
I don't know what
Ralph,
Hamas is up to.
yeah, you
Go
know
ahead, Leo.
what? The one thing about Israel is that you're going to get one shot at them. But after that, you're not going to get another shot, because they're going to take out everything you've got.
Absolutely.
There may not be a Hamas fighter standing after they get done, because they're going to go in, they're going to take all these tunnels, they're going to destroy them. They've been dropping the bunker blasters, and you're messing you're messing with the wrong people here, because if you don't take them out, they'll take you out, and that's what's happening over there. The Israelis are getting ready to take out a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I think they are. And then we're also sending troops. We have 900 troops going over to the Middle East. Some are going to Iran or Iraq, and some are going to Syria. Apparently, Iran and a couple other countries are attacking our bases over there. What do you think of this, Leo?
Well, I not the smartest thing in the world to do if you're Iran,
Right.
because you're poking the bear, and sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you. And I tell you what, right now is not a good time to be poking the United States because we're a little bit ornery right now with what's going on, especially with these mass shootings going on in Maine, and just looking at those. And yeah, we're an ornery group of people right now, so you don't want to poke the bear, so to speak.
Yeah. Also, that shooting in Maine, that was horrific. Who would ever thought of shooting in Maine? Maine is one of the quietest states, I think. I know I read some reports about crime in some of the areas up there, and of course, every state has that problem. But it seems like Maine is like a quiet kind of place to go, and all of a sudden, this guy here decides to come on and just shoot away. You got these crazy people out here with guns and everything else. It's just crazy, Leo.
Yeah, and you know what? The Second Amendment talks all you want, but remember, when the Second Amendment was written, all you had were single shot muskets. That was it. It took you 10 minutes to reload. Now we
Yeah,
got these AKs. We got everything on the planet, and you can turn most any gun into an automatic weapon with these bump stops and everything. So they got to get this under control. And again, Ralph, the problem is they won't get under control until some legislator's kid is shot, or some
yeah,
legislator's parents are shot, or their family. And that's not right. They need to put controls on the assault weapons. I have no trouble with somebody having a handgun. I have no trouble with somebody having a shotgun. But what's the sense of having something that shoots 12, 14, 16 bullets in a 5 second span? I mean, what do you need that for? So yeah, they got to get the assault weapons under control.
yeah. They do. They have to do something. Well, I'll tell you this, Leo, it's these progressive Democrats. I mean, you got too many of them, and a lot of these folks, they're for keep people having guns like that. They don't want to see anything. They don't want people in jail. They don't want. There's a lot of things that these progressive Democrats are doing. We're having that issue here, where we have a bunch of them that we have to get out, and it's starting real soon with our county executive race. We have a progressive Democrat going up against a Republican. I'm not a Republican. I've never voted Republican in my life, but let me tell you this, Leo. My thought process these days with Uncle Joe and some of these other progressives, I'm getting tired of some of their stuff. So I think I might vote Republican in this next election.
Well, you know what, Ralph? I think what's happening with all the people in the United States, the voting population, is they're not voting for, they're voting against. They're taking, you know, who's the best option? Not who do I like, but I don't want this guy in, so I'm voting for the other guy. That's
Right,
WC Field. WC Fields said that, I don't vote for, I vote against. And that's what it is. I'm
right.
going to, they're voting against that candidate. So, yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's become a serious situation in this country, and it's the uh, we got a few more topics to talk about in a few minutes here. Draft 412. I want to talk to you today about them. Draft412.com, $9 a month. They have a magazine they'll send to your email in your inbox. And that magazine is, I got to tell you, it's super duper. I have it, draft412.com. Check out all their stuff. They break down the skinny of all your draft needs, whether it's NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, football, anything like that. Check them out today. Draft412.com, $9 a month, and you get a nice magazine in your inbox that you could check out everything. I want to talk to you today again about Sleep Pittsburgh. Sleep Pittsburgh, you have to check them out. Go out to Homestead, 8th Avenue, and right out of the outskirts of downtown Pittsburgh. Take a trip out to Sleep Pittsburgh. Check out what they have. They have day beds, futons, mattresses. I needed a mattress. I called Sleep Pittsburgh. I didn't have to take out a loan. Call them today. That number is 412-462-7858. Also, they have no credit check financing. Very nice people. They'll do it on the phone or you can do it online. at sleeppittsburgh.com. Check out their inventory on there as well. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. Okay, Leo, let's what do you want to talk about right now in general topics, and then we'll get into sports in a few minutes.
Well, Ralph, when you look at what's going on in the United States, I'm not a big proponent of allowing voting to take place over the span of like 6, 7, 8 weeks. But here's my problem with that. When you look at what's going on in the United States, if voting was that important, Election Day would be a national holiday.
Right.
The people that are in government, they don't want everybody voting. The people that are elected,
Yeah.
and right now it's time to look at these people that you got in office and say, okay, are they doing what I would like them to do? And if not, stop pulling the Republican lever, stop pulling the Democratic lever. Vote for what makes your life better. And that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Voting, and they're trying to get people to go out and vote. And the big push to get people to vote has been tough. A lot of people don't want to vote because a lot of people don't trust these politicians. But the sad part about this is the ones who don't vote, Leo, are the ones that are causing this problem. Because if they do vote, maybe they'll get who they want in there. Maybe they'll have a better thing with a politician. Do you see
Yeah,
what I
and
mean? And
I'll tell
when
you
you
what.
keep voting the same guys in, or gals and all that.
Yeah, what do you think's going to change? Nothing. And I still like Don Gershio. Rest his soul had a great line. He said, "If you don't vote, you get the government you deserve," and that's the truth. I
Well,
I can't.
here's the biggest problem, Leo. They people don't vote and they complain too much. They
Yeah,
go, "Oh, well, this politician didn't do this," and then you say, "Well, did you vote?" No. Well, then you shouldn't say anything because you didn't
no.
vote, and that's the
Yeah,
bottom line. And that's what these people do all the time in this country, and they do
yeah,
it all the time.
yeah. The big thing
So
is, we got to get the voters out, and everybody talks about the 1% and the 99% and all that, but dear Lord, just come up, go out and vote. It's not that hard. It's
no,
not
not at
that
all.
hard.
Not at all. 1-877-926-6982. That's the number to call. We're in the First Line Consulting Services studios. This is Telling It Like It Is. Myself, Leo Haggerty. I'm Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, and we're here every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. We talk general topics and then get into some sports topics. All right, we can get into some sports topics, Leo. Um, the World Series has started. Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. A lot of people said the Diamondbacks were going to do this because of their scrappy, the way they play their game. There might be a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, but they're also a team that plays a scrappy ball, small ball kind of thing. And Texas, Bruce Bochy has been there and done that, but he resurrected a team that lost 100 games 2 years in a row. I believe that Bruce Bochy probably should be manager of the year. And then we have Dusty Baker retiring. What are your thoughts on all this?
Oh Lord, you got 2 6 seeds in there, Ralph. It's amazing when you think about it that both of these teams 6 seed. They're at the bottom of
Six
the
seed,
barrel and
right?
still came back in and won their way all the way through. And Bruce Bochy is a big cog in that machine in Texas. Absolutely.
Right. Uh, but I think that I said I predicted Texas. I said Texas and Atlanta, and Atlanta folded up, and then so now Arizona's in there, and I hope that both teams do well. I want to talk about this Dan Serafini thing. I don't know if we have or not. Dan Serafini's been put in jail for murder, supposedly murdered his father-in-law. Yesterday on the My External Bum show, I called him a bum, which of course I believe that to be the case. His bar a few years back was saved by John Taffer on bar rescue. What's your thoughts on Dan Serafini?
Well, you know what, Ralph? You're going to get your day in court, and you're innocent until proven guilty. But I'll tell you what, this is not turning out real well for him. I mean, there's a plethora of evidence coming out that he's basically a criminal. And you never want to get tried in the media because that's a no-win situation. But he, it's not good. It's not good. And if if he did commit these crimes, then he's going to go to jail. In fact, he may get capital punishment. I don't know, depending upon what state and what they're doing. But yeah, not good, Ralph. Not good.
We got a few good games today in college football, Leo. We have Georgia versus Florida. Well, Florida hasn't been that great anyway. They're not even in the top 25. Colorado takes on UCLA. What do you think in that game? You think Prime wins that game or Chip Kelly?
No, Chip Kelly. It's going to.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah, and again, what people don't realize with the Pac-12 is your travel is ridiculous. You're going 1,000 miles just for a conference game, and sometimes you're going like 1,500 for a conference game. Like when Washington goes to Arizona, that's almost 2,000 miles. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. So Colorado's got to travel to UCLA. I think UCLA wins.
Well, Stanford and California next year and SMU are joining the ACC. I can imagine the travel on them.
Well, yeah, and
you know,
then you got Washington, Oregon, Southern Cal, UCLA going to the Big Ten. And I'm
Big
going,
Ten. Yeah.
okay, hey, how'd you like to play Rutgers and Maryland back to back, guys, on the road?
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, won't be
That's
pretty. So, yeah,
Oklahoma. Oklahoma versus Kansas. What do you think of that game?
if Daniels plays for Kansas, I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. If he doesn't, and Oklahoma's beat Kansas 19 years in a row. So, yeah, this is just not a good thing for
It's
Kansas. Their best quarterback is hurt. So we'll see what happens here, but I like Oklahoma.
Indiana versus Penn State. Penn
Oh,
State, of course.
Penn
Yeah.
State. Yeah, boom.
Yeah. Indiana hasn't been relevant in a long time. Gosh.
Well, yeah,
Florida
and
State.
then they had Michael Penix, and he got hurt, and then that was
Right.
not good. So
Florida State versus Wake Forest. Wake Forest coming off their big win against Pitt last week. I mean, I don't think it was that big of a win, but it was still a win for them. They were sort of in the slump, and Wake Forest came on. They beat Pitt last week. They're playing with Florida State. What do you think here? I think
yeah.
Florida State wins.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, Ralph. I think if Florida State wins, it wins handily.
Oregon versus Utah. This ought to be a really good game. Uh, you got two teams in the top 25.
Yeah, and it's basically an elimination game because the loser is going to be out of the Pac-12 12 race. I'll tell you what,
Uh,
hard to go against Oregon, but it's hard to go against Utah at elevation there, in Salt Lake City. So it's, I'll tell you what, Ralph, this is a coin flip. It's really a coin flip. I think Oregon eventually wins this game, but it's going to go down to the last play.
All right, before we get to the next game, I want to talk to you today about Bon Journey. Bon Journey is a cover band that plays Bon Jovi and Journey songs in Western Pennsylvania. November 3rd, they'll be at the Rivers Casino at the Drum Bar in the North Shore of Pittsburgh. November 11th at the Mercury Lounge in Lakewood, Ohio. And then on November 18th, they will be at the 31 Bar in Bridgeville. So, are you familiar with Ken Reckett, who used to play for the Penguins? He was a goalie, Leo.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this 31 Bar is his place. He
Oh,
owns it.
nice, nice.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to these games. BYU versus Texas.
Now Texas big,
Oh, I know. Keaton Slovis for BYU. And the reason I know about Keaton Slovis was because he used to play for Pitt, and he was a bum at Pitt. He didn't do anything there. And then he transferred to BYU. He's been pretty average here. But yeah, against Texas, he's gonna get eaten up, I think. So Duke versus Louisville.
Well, that all depends on the Duke quarterback Leonard if he plays. He got injured against. I think it was a Notre Dame game. He got hurt, and against Florida State last week, he got hurt again. So it all depends on. He's going to
If
be a
May.
game time. It's going to be a game time decision with him, with his ankle. So we'll see what happens there. If he plays, I think they beat Louisville. But if he doesn't, I'm going with the Cardinal.
All right, here we go. Pitt. I could be a homer, but I'm not going to. Pitt versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Not a good outcome, Ralph, for the home
Right.
side.
No,
Not a good
I
outcome.
don't want to be, I'm not going to be a homer here because I'm very disgusted with the Pitt season this year. I'm disgusted with Pat Narduzzi. I thought he was going to get the Michigan State job, but I found out this week they released another list of 5 candidates, and he's not on it this time. Well, last list they released, he was the number one candidate. Now all of a sudden he's off the list. I guess because of this bad season, kind of pushed him out. Being a candidate for that Michigan State job. Who do you think takes that job? I hear Urban Meyer might be taking it, or they might be
Oh
hiring him.
God, what a mistake that would be. Just keep Urban in the booth. That's all. That's where he needs to
Yeah,
stay.
because he'll coach like what 1 2 years and go, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I got to take care of my family. Oh, I got a
Yeah,
problem. Yeah, yeah, you got a problem. You want to coach, you want to make money, but you don't want to do all the work that's required to coach. You know what I mean? And it's a
yeah,
lot of work.
yeah. I tell you what. Keep an eye on the hottest commodity in the non-power five coaching ranks, and that's the guy at Air Force. Air Force is 7-0 all of a sudden. So
Wow.
yeah, they're the highest ranked non-power five conference team. So they're going to go to a bowl game. They'll go to a major bowl game, and they would next year. Right now, they'd be one of those teams that's in that 12-team playoff. But yeah, keep an eye on him. He's an up and comer, and I'll tell you what, another one, Liberty. Liberty's coach. Now I know it's very religious, very you
Yeah, they
know,
just had a good, what was it, Hugh Freeze or something. He took the job down at Auburn.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
uh, yeah.
don't be surprised if that happens there too.
Oh, wow. So the coach at Liberty. Wow. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they're 7-0. Yeah,
yeah, the momentum of Hugh Freeze before he left really pushed Liberty into where they are. So, yeah, that's nice to hear on that one. Tulane versus Rice.
Tulane.
I say Tulane.
Tulane's they're 7-1. Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't miss a beat from last year for sure.
USC versus Cal. That ought to be well,
That'll
regardless of
be
the
ugly.
record. That's a good rivalry game.
Yeah, but that'll be ugly.
All
That'll be ugly.
right, Tennessee versus Kentucky.
You know what? I looked at this, Ralph, and Kentucky has trouble with tempo offenses. That's
Oh,
not a
really?
good thing. That's not a
No.
good thing when you're going into play play Tennessee. So I think Kentucky wins this. No, I take that back. I think Tennessee wins this.
Okay, Air Force versus Colorado State. We just talked
Yeah,
about Air Force.
yeah, Air Force again. Yeah, they're
All
playing
right.
well.
Washington versus Stanford.
Washington. Yeah, yeah. They I don't think
Vanderbilt.
Michael Penix. I don't think Michael Penix will play a second bad game. So look for that to end up as the
Stanford hasn't been
Huskies.
that relevant anyway for a while.
No, no, not for a while.
Since what's his face left? What was David Ross or David? What the heck was his name? That was the coach at
Uh,
Stanford.
you're
Oh my
killing me.
gosh.
You're killing me
Huh?
now. You're
Yeah.
killing me now. I got to remember that. But yeah,
Yeah. Uh, Vanderbilt versus Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Ole
Yeah,
Miss.
a lot of road teams are going to come up with wins, Ralph. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. How about Wisconsin versus Ohio State?
I tell you what, Ohio State better not go in there and look past this game because you don't want to end up in the fourth quarter with Wisconsin having a sniff at winning because now there's a problem because
Yeah.
they got the if you want a linebacker who used to go to Penn State, if you want an offensive lineman, you go to Wisconsin because they just put out lineman after lineman, and you know what? Late in the game, those big bodies pushing on you for 3 quarters. Now they earn their money. Yeah.
Old Dominion versus James Madison. James Madison is in the top 25.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
25. Yeah,
Yeah.
James Madison.
Old Dominion's not a bad team either. They beat some people over the
No,
years.
no, not at all. But I'll tell you what, James Madison is putting together, some really nice seasons back to back to back.
You North Carolina versus Georgia Tech. I take North Carolina in this one.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
All right. Oregon State versus Arizona.
You know what? Uh, my buddy Rick Moore, who has been with us, he's one of the original six guys when we started Night Sports Production back in 1999. He's a big proponent of Arizona, and I'll tell you what, they're starting to play really, really well. And they put it on Washington State the other day. It was like 41-6. So I'll tell you what, don't go to sleep on the Wildcats because that could be a problem.
All right, let's talk about the NFL. Uh, Tampa Bay the other night. At least they came back a little bit. What's the story with them?
Well, it's Thursday night football, Ralph. You can't judge anybody. And I'll tell you what, I had one of my rants this week was basically how the NFLPA needs to tell the NFL, look, we'll play Thursday night, but the only way we'll play Thursday night is there's a bye week the week before. Because now you got 10 days to get ready, and then you get 10 days for the next game. Some of these teams that are playing Monday night, it's their third game in 12 days. It's definitely their third game in 5 days. So that's never, never good. In fact, I asked Baker Mayfield, I said, you got to squeeze a 4-day practice week into a 2-day. How do you do it? And he very telling comment, Ralph. He said, hey, nobody's physically ready to play. Nobody.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you don't expect to see a lot of new things on their defense because they don't even have time to do it. Think about this. The Bucks played Sunday, had a day off Monday, or maybe came in because the players' day off is Tuesday. Then Wednesday
Right.
they had to travel. I mean, that's bizarre. Totally bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of teams. Like when if they're away and they have a game on Thursday on their way home on the airplane, they start looking over stuff for the next game on
Oh,
films and stuff right on the airplane.
I asked Coach Canales, I said, look, you got a short week coming up. This was right before the Atlanta game. I said, is somebody in the organization doing cut ups? He said, yeah, all the younger guys, because we will not have time with concentrating on Atlanta to actually come in and start, doing what we need to do to get ready. So he said a lot of the younger kids in the organization, we're going to start working on Buffalo, and now, and I didn't expect it to win up in Buffalo because that's a tough place to play, tough place to win.
Right.
So yeah, they're. I don't think there'll be a winner in the NFC South, Ralph. I think there'll be just someone win by default that they're going to
Right.
have somebody. I said at the beginning of the year, 9-8 may be what wins that division.
That could be. Uh, Steelers play Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday. What do you know about the Jags? I mean, I had Scott Morganroth on. What do you know about the Jags?
They're a pretty darn good football team, Ralph. In fact, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Uh, they got Coach Peterson. He's working off what Urban Meyer ruined with,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence and that whole team. And they got a
Uh,
secret weapon. They picked up Calvin Ridley after his 1-year suspension for gambling. And that could be the missing piece for that offense down in Jacksonville. Ralph, I picked the Steelers the last 2 weeks. I can't pick them this week.
it's going to be a tough game. Jacksonville has a really good offense. We have a good defense, but our offense is still sputtering, even though we're winning games. We just aren't producing the points as thorough as we should. Uh, Speaking of Thursday night games, Steelers play the Titans on the second. So that means we only have a 4-day week or a 2-day week of practice. So I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying about the Thursday night games. All right, Leo, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, just hey, enjoy the weekend and enjoy the weekend of football because we're starting to get a little cooler down here, Ralph. It's supposed to get down in the, we're still up in the 80s down here in Florida, but it's supposed to get in the 30s and 40s up in Texas and probably down here in the 50s
Yeah.
this week. So it'll be football weather shortly down here in the South.
Yeah. Well, we have championship weekend here. There's some like the Pittsburgh City League has their championship game tonight in high school, and there's some things going on, and we got everybody in town for the Steeler game on Sunday. So we're gonna find this weekend should be pretty good. I'm staying laying low because it's gonna rain this weekend, and I'm not going anywhere. So.
Well, smart move, Ralph. Smart move.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to watch the Pitt game at 3:30. Probably watch them get slaughtered, but but we'll see what goes on with that, and then switch around to some of the other games. So,
all right, my friend. Shall we do it
all
again
right,
next Saturday?
yeah, we'll be here next Saturday, same time, same channel.
All
Ralph
right, buddy.
Williams, Leo Haggerty, telling it like it is. Leo, thank you for being on, and we'll talk with you next week.
Take care, buddy.
That was Leo Haggerty, my co-host here on Telling It Like It Is. We're here every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Anyone also Monday, 7 p.m., the RW Media schedule for next week is Ralph Williams, myself, and Bill Canada. We're here every Monday, right here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. We are with the show The Way We See It. That's every Monday at 7 p.m. And then on Tuesdays, 5 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio, FM 99.3, AM 1230. Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier. We have no guests this week. It's a what I call a Joe show. It's an open show for those who want to call in. 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888, and we'll get you on the air. It's an open show this week. I don't have any guests coming on of any way. Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. I'm on with Peter Blake and Mark Mancini with the Sports Web Show. As part of it, we do a show called Turnbuckle Talk, and we'll be on for that. And then on which is on YouTube and Facebook. It's part of the Sports Web, and we talk wrestling for about a half an hour. Then on Thursday nights, this Thursday we'll be on at 8:30 to 9:30. All right. Is Wrestle Talk with me, Ralph Williams, Mark Mancini, Bubba Brewer, and Smoking Jim Frazier. We talk all different aspects of wrestling, ROH, AEW, WWE, all different types of wrestling in different ways. Impact Wrestling we talk about as well. So tune in, 347-205-9631 is the number to call. That's for you to be able to listen in and also comment as well. And then on Fridays at 11 a.m., every Friday, 11 a.m., Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. Me, Ralph Williams, Mark Mancini, Scott Morganroth, and Joe Kuklis from the Draft 412 happens to be one of our sponsors. Also one of our national sponsors for Sports Corner and for Wrestle Talk and for the External Bum, Scott Morganroth, South Florida Tribune as well. We're on 11 a.m. every Friday. We talk about bums in sports, and then we talk about other sports issues of the week. That's every Friday at 11 a.m. Blog Talk Radio as well, 347-205-9631. And then every Saturday morning here, 10:30 a.m., YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Telling it like it is, me, myself, Leo Haggerty. It's a great show here, as always, every Saturday morning. Get you ready for your weekend. All right. I want to talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio. Hillcrest Farm, call 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. Hillcrest Farms, Ohio at gmail.com is their email address. And don't forget to check out their website, Hillcrest Farms, Ohio at hillcrestfarmsohio.com. And then they're also on Facebook, Hillcrest Farm. They do delivery now. They're delivered to your home. Get on their website, check out what they have. They have some good package deals. Hey, grain beef, not that fake stuff that you buy in the store. In fact, last night I had hamburgers with Hillcrest Farm meat. Tonight I'm having spaghetti with meat sauce, possibly. So, or I'm having sloppy Joe or something like that. Whatever you can come up with, because ground beef there $95 for 20 pounds of ground beef. $95, 20 pounds. Can't get that anywhere. That price is so. Give them a call today. Hillcrest Farms, Richmond, Ohio, right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio, 45 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. And that number again is 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. Hillcrest Farms, Richmond, Ohio. All right, everybody, it's time to head out here. And everybody have a great weekend. I'm Ralph Williams for Leo Haggerty. Have a great weekend, and thank you for watching.